What's up, people? Punch here. So I seen that Super Hire came out of early access. I think it was June 20th, 2025, and I know I'm about maybe a week late, but I did play about 3 to 4 hours of this, and I want to give my 2 cents as my experience from playing the early access version to the 1.0 version, the differences, similarities, and some other things. They have about 35 total, I think, chapters in the game, or levels, with 7 series, being Tokyo, Sydney, and some other places. But they also have new modifiers for all the different runs. There's about 20 in total. You have infinite ammo, infinite stamina, you have Pinata Party, you even have some other ones like Icy Feet to where you're slippery every time you walk. And I think what it says from my notes here, the other ones were Short-Sighted, which is the world around the player is filled with fog. Slow bullets, all bullets are slowed. And then they have infinite, everything else I said earlier, like stamina, when it comes down to actual bullets, and a couple other things. What I'm showing you here is the new mode, or different type of angle, like you would see for Risk of Rain 2, and some other games that went from top-down or side-scrollers to third-person. Crimson, or Godmode Interactive, did the same thing with Super Hire. I already liked Super Hire. I love the top-down version of the game, even when it was only about an hour long, because the final chapter or final boss in that game, before it was up to all the other levels, was the helicopter boss that you fight by kicking bombs into them and blowing them up. That was the final boss a long time ago. This, however, is way beyond that. You're going beyond Tirano, you're going beyond Miami, you're going beyond Sahara and Roma, you're going to other places, and like I said, 7 series with about 35 levels in total of stuff to do. That's a lot more than what the game originally had. And with this third-person mode, it is so much more fun, so much more interesting to see the animation for kill effects, being able to go up behind somebody and stab them, or they actually have different grapple animations. For example, when you actually went to go and do an execution move on one of these guys, he would like bash him with his gun and shoot at him, stab him with a knife. Now you can suplex them and break their neck, or even do a backbreaker, which is kind of insane. And the other thing I like about third-person mode is that besides a different angle, you could actually see all the enemies in different spots. Like normally you couldn't see them in cargo crates, you couldn't get behind walls, or even inside some small secret area you couldn't normally get to. A little bit easier in access to see. Not to mention when it comes down to shooting your gun, which is a one-shot kill, it doesn't really matter the range that you're currently at. For example, I could shoot somebody across the actual map and hit them, instantly downing them or killing them with my primary gun. Different when it comes down to the sidearms, like picking up their guns, unless it's a DMR, maybe a sniper rifle, shotgun, and some other things. Like, they did add some new guns as well. They actually have an RPG that you could pick up from somebody. I think it's in the later levels. Then you have a shotgun that fires dragon breath that burns them every time you fire, and it burns in a cone when you shoot directly at like a whole horde of enemies. Then you have another kind of like suppressed submachine gun that kind of reminds me of the Scorpion or like a PDW, and that's also in there with a bunch of ammunition, almost about the same amount you would see with the battle rifle or the DMR. Then the sniper rifle, which pierces through riot guards or riot shield people or anybody with heavy armor, and then some other ones there. I don't know all of the guns that I've seen in this game so far, mostly the Scorpion, which is the PDW, and the RPG, with some other times having the Dragon Breath type of shotgun that has also come up every once in a while. But then the normal main handguns you would have, which is the pistol, starting pistol. You have the revolver. Then you have the silenced Walther. You have the other one, which would be a nail gun that pins enemies to the walls. After that would be I think it was the Hunter 500, which is a single shot kill. And if you kill an enemy with it, it would automatically give you a bullet back so you never have to reload. With the last gun, or the 6th gun they added, the Deagle, which I don't know what the unlock is for exactly. I'll have to figure that out later, or just make it a secret for the people to figure it out when they decide to pick up the game. On a side note, when it comes down to third-person view of any game, I know they did Risk of Rain, I know they did Hyper Light Breaker, but whenever I see somebody, especially an indie dev like Crimson, put third-person inside of a game like Super Hire, I think it might even improve upon it and make it 10 times better. And the reason why I say this is because, I mean, I always like third-person shooter games, like, for example, Arc Raiders and even Gears of War from a long time ago. And third-person games like that, though a lot of them are kind of like over the corner, shoot around a wall, or kind of sit behind a barricade, it's different when you see games like a John Wick-esque, to where you're running around being chased by multiple units, having to fight using melee and a knife, having to do these kind of cool execution kills, while trying to evade, dodge, and roll from being shot instantly, because one hit is what it takes to instantly end the game or end the run for your character, as opposed to having a health bar or even armor. So it's kind of crazy to see not just this being third person, but the way that he did it, going on the skywalk and then shooting all the enemies down below, going on the actual like crosswalk or catwalk, looking up and seeing enemies shoot down upon me. It's a whole different experience when you're talking about third person. And that's what I like about this so much. 1.0, when it comes down to Super Hire, I'd say is a definite victory. And I think Godmode Interactive did a great job doing it. Adding more levels, adding more time, adding more playstyle, and modifiers to the game. This is the original Super Hire, what it actually looked like. The reason why I wanted to show this was because this is what you're basically playing as the default for Super Hire. If you want to do third person mode, you can change it in the options and go ahead and do that, like what I did earlier, and essentially be playing all the different levels from third person mode or top down mode, whatever your preferred style is. After playing it for about 4 or 5 hours, I mean, I'm into third person more than anything else, especially checking out the new guns and additions they added to the game. From the patch notes, it said with the release of 1.0, there was 15 new levels added, meaning there's probably new songs that were also in the game. They added the new primary weapon, the Deagle, new hand-to-hand execution animations, customization to Slim Wick, which is face hair, facial hair, torso, legs, and accessories like watches and sunglasses. And then, of course, the different difficulty can be saved per whatever you're going. So it's going to save in a checkpoint. That wasn't the case in early access. Also added a restart chapter and pause menu. Grabbing now uses player stamina rather than a separate resource, which would have been, I think, would have been like the slow motion deal. But now it uses just normal stamina. As you see on the bottom left side of the screen, there's a Q. And you see how I'm running, it goes down. It goes down from running, which is hard running, or being able to use the slow motion feature that gradually goes down when you press the Q button. That is not your ultimate ability. Your ultimate ability is V, which is different ones per the gun that you have. The revolver gives you like a 7 shots automatically, all bullets down range. The other, I think, default pistol does armor piercing. And I think I can't remember what the nail gun does, but I think it like supercharges my nails and pierces through. I can't really tell you because I never used it that much. So at the end of the day, what's my verdict when it comes down to Super Hire? Is it a buy? Absolutely. I bought it a long time ago for $15, and it's currently on sale with the summer sale until July 11th for $9. The full asking price is still $15, and I highly recommend people check it out, especially with the new mode, which is third person. There's a lot more levels to go to, a lot more stuff to do, and the modifiers even make it more fun and enjoyable to try out. But that's all I gotta say about Super Hire for this one. I mean, I've been liking it a lot, especially after the whole third-person mode and the ragdoll physics, which I'm glad that God mode never changed, because it's always funny watching them fly up in the air, especially to the moon after they get blasted with a shotgun. But anyway, I've been One Nut Punch. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.